The fifth traditional form is known as the Perseverance form, or the Way of the Crit Dragon. Its two aspects, Shien and Djem So, can be equally mastered by a Form 5 practitioner, but most Jedi express a preference for one or the other in the same way that most of us have a dominant hand with which we prefer to hold a saber. Hello YouTube! This is Djem So delivering his next Nerd Rage rant. Today I will be describing what is probably the most popular and well-known lightsaber form next to Ataru. Form 5, Shien and or Djem So. Like Ataru, Form 5 was developed as an answer to Sarisu's lack of any offensive capabilities, but whereas Ataru started from scratch, Form 5 was developed from Sarisu. Thusly, classical Form 5 lightsaber combat, the Shien style, was born. Like Sarisu, Shien was geared towards blast deflection, but while Sarisu focused purely on the defensive applications of this technique, Shien took advantage of the offensive ones. Shien was all about aimed blast deflection, redirecting bolts back along chosen vectors that take out attackers or other targets of opportunity. That's all that can be said for Shien, but don't knock it. Bear in mind that Shien is essentially Sarisu applied with a Makashi mentality. Tight moves that provide great defensive coverage, but still providing plenty of opportunities for counterattack. Oh yeah, Shien practitioners also have a thing for reverse grips. No idea why though. The later Djem So variant was optimized for lightsaber combat, and was the most physically demanding of the 7 Jedi forms. Like Shien, Djem So was geared towards defending against an enemy attack and instantly countering, but in a lightsaber duel. Djem So is definitely the style that's been talked about the most, because the two central figures of the Star Wars saga are specialist practitioners of it. Anyway, here is the core idea behind Form 5 lightsaber combat. Brute force, brute force, brute force, brute force! Djem So is the most physically demanding form, because it is the most strength-oriented, and relies heavily on dominating one's opponent. Due to this offensive focus, Form 5 has been heavily criticized by many of the more conservative lightsaber masters within the Jedi Order, who are more than a little put off by its high level of aggression, though it has been noted that mastery of more compassionate applications of the Force can balance this out. For those of you who have read The Jedi Path, Luke Skywalker commented that he considers such a balancing act a key element of mastering Form 5. Here are Form 5's moves, maneuvers, and stances. The Shien opening stance was a high guard position, lightsaber held at head height, angled up and away. The dominant foot was held back, obviously in preparation for forward movement. The Djem So attack stance was also a high guard, blade held directly above the head, angled back and downwards. 3 guesses what the foot positions are. The barrier of blades was devoted to blast deflection, but also redirected some back at the shooters, or even just in random ricochet patterns to maximize overall damage. The Shien deflection was fairly simple. Deflect a shot, then jump at the guy and ruin his day. The classical Form 5 attack was the Falling Avalanche, a heavy overhand chop designed to bash through armor and defenses. The other classical Form 5 move was the Fluid Riposte, which is just applying Form 5's primary tactic, defend and counter immediately. Now to the statistical breakdown. What does Form 5 have going for it? Powerful offensive technique backed up by a strong defense. This style was developed from Sarisu after all. Brute force, brute force, brute force, brute force. Need I say more? Depending on your favored variant, you're good for both blast deflection and lightsaber dueling, so general versatility is covered. In my personal opinion, the Djem So practitioners are scary as all hell. so I guess you could include psychological warfare as an asset. What does Form 5 have going against it? That depends. Shien is weak against single opponents, which makes sense. It's geared towards blast deflection, and you're usually deflecting shots from a lot of guys. Djem So lacks mobility, which makes sense given the focus on strength. In sword fighting, all your power comes from your footwork, and if a style banks itself on strength, your footwork is going to be a little slow. And the poster boy for Form 5 is Darth Vader. There is no joking to put aside. Vader is a fucking tank. And even when he is getting beat, he will fuck you up before he goes down. He is a high-level Djem So master, and until Luke Skywalker comes along, he is arguably the greatest duelist of his age. We all know Galen Merrick only beat him because of his superior force abilities, not because he was a better duelist. And for those of you who've played The Force Unleashed, Vader was still really fucking tough. And what's more, Vader may specialize in Djem So, but he's still smart enough to diversify. He borrows elements from all lightsaber forms and finds new and creative ways to work them into his style. He is a tank, but he is also completely unpredictable and utterly relentless. He knows precisely how to counter every attack used against him and will adjust his tactics accordingly. If you want proof of how badass Vader is, read Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader by James Luceno. It will explain everything. My friend was always a little skeptical of Vader's skills and held Mace Windu in higher esteem, but then he read this book, and now he's not so sure. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Shien signing off.